Kane's overall mission this time is to destroy a Necron warp portal. And so, Kane and his stormtroopers troop through the caves of ice. And they get some casualties here and there, and eventually they're all killed due to the fact that they encounter what is called a Necron pariah. Essentially, if you're not psychically protected, you'll basically become so afraid that you lose all composure and just panic, which allows the Necrons to easily terminate anyone. Seeing as how Jurgen is a psychic blank, and the fact that Jurgen is fairly close to Kane, Kane was unaffected by the psychic field put out by the Necron pariahs. Kane decides to return to the surface, mainly because the melted charges that were carried by the soldiers are now so much free-floating atoms, and so without the charges he can't destroy the warp portal. While they may have lost all of the stormtroopers, they did encounter Logash again. You see, prior to Kane's mission, the various tech priests that serviced the mining station decided to go down to the Necron tomb because they saw it as archaeotech, technology that could eventually advance humanity. Because you have to remember, this is Warhammer 40,000. Humanity has lost most of its technology, and so tech priests who worship technology obviously want to find more advanced technology. Essentially, they were all killed by the Necrons, and Logash was able to survive for some reason. Finding Logash proved to be quite the boon, as he was able to help Kane reach the surface. But prior to rejoining his regiment, he was able to find an engineering section and flood the tunnels. This, of course, slowed down the Necrons considerably. And so after the tunnels are flooded, they returned to the compound only to find that the Gargant had arrived. Although it had been damaged by numerous Necron attacks, it still was an extremely formidable vehicle. In fact, when it first arrives, it destroys a large building that was roughly the same size as the unit itself. Luckily, all they had to do was pour as much bolter fire as possible into one of its heavily damaged legs. Once they did that, the entire machine just toppled over and cracked through the ice and basically became unusable. With the Gargant eliminated, they simply mop up the remaining survivors and board the shuttles. Well, there's still something to be done about the Necrons. They can't let them just take the planet. But lucky for all of them, there were two events that occurred in their favor. One, Kane flooded the mining tunnels with promethium, and another, Castine had charges laid to try to destroy the Gargant. So the promethium in the tunnels and the charges essentially combined to create one massive fuel-air bomb, which they wasted no time in detonating. And so, Kane and the regiment leave the planet safely. And Kane gets an added bonus. He gets to see Amberley Vale again. And I'm certain we all know what Amberley means by personal matters. And so, Book 2 of the Kane Omnibus comes to a succinct and proper close. And yes, one could indeed say,
mission complete!
And there you have it. Caves of Ice is not necessarily a bad novel, it's just kind of disconnected, and in some respects it's just kind of boring. There's really just a total of one boss fight, and that's about it. That's the most exciting it ever gets. You have the encounter with the Gargant, and just kind of lumbering out like, "Grah!" But then Kane says, "Shoot his legs!" They shoot the legs, it falls down, that's it. It could have been a little more exciting, I think. Now, of course, there's some memorable moments, like with the Necrons killing all the stormtroopers, and then, of course, there's the huge planetary explosion that wipes out half the planet. That was cool. But overall, it's just Kane going into the Caves of Ice 3 times looking for stuff. That's really what the whole novel amounts to. It's probably the weakest in the series, but it's by no means bad. So overall, Caves of Ice is a good first sequel. Now for next time, I'm going to be reviewing Book 3 of the Cepheus Kane Omnibus. Traitor's Hand? Is it good? Is it bad? We'll find out next week. So this is General Losh wishing you good, and having writ. Good. X-Men meet Star Trek. That's right. X-Men meet Star Trek. Or whatever makes you happy.